63, climb maintain 13 down.
13,000, JustFlight 63.
63, contact the New York Center, 128.3.
28.3, JustFlight 63, good day.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our first episode of TSL News. And that's probably the last that you'll hear of my host voice because this show's a little bit of a different format. We won't be playing the host role so much. What we will be doing is having fun, being ourselves, going over the week in review on flight sim and aviation news posted to our website. All user-submitted stories posted by you, posted by developers, posted by anyone, and we'll highlight what we think are of interest to the community, and we'll discuss in an open forum. Introducing our hosts from the top, this is me, OMGEDSON. What's up, guys? Thank you for joining. Down below, right there, we have Mr. Pear. Hello, Mr. Pear.
Hello, hello, hello.
There he goes. He's just a glowing blue orb. He's the sky eye. He's a computer. He's not really a human. He's basically Sky AI, is what he is. And he chimes in at the perfect moments, only when needs to be spoken, it seems. Mr. Sparks, hello, sir.
Sky 5, brother.
Sky 5, sir. Sky 5 to you. Looking good there, smoking a ciggy.
In the Temple of Smoke, man.
The Temple of Smoke. And below Mr. Sparks, we've got Mr. Crawley. Mr. B. Crawley, one of the newer hosts here on the Sky Lounge.
Sky 5 and Happy New Year to everyone.
Happy New Year to you too, sir. Let's dive right in, shall we? We'll dive into the forums, and this is where we'll be pulling our stories from. So we'll start at the beginning of last week, since we're covering a week in review. Starting off here at $3,000 for a 4-hour flight. Now you can experience it too. So apparently this guy has $3,000 to spare, which would be nice, yeah? And
Just give me a PC.
yeah, give me a PC, right? A 4-hour flight or a PC? I don't know.
Oh, the PC will last longer.
The PC will last longer. Let's see what you get for $3,000, shall we? So we won't watch the entire video, but we will kind of skip through it systematically. If you'd like to watch the full deal, head over to the website, theskylounge.tv, and click on the forum. So it's Etihad Airways, the A380, the Residence.
He's looking a little gangster.
So I want to know what he does to have
Looking a little
$3,000
gangster, isn't he?
Alright, checking in. Oh my gosh.
Beautiful.
I have to say, those
Wow.
Etihad ladies, they are
Etihad aircrew. This is
not too
amazing.
shoddy. They're not too shoddy. They're not British Airways, you know what I'm saying?
Look
My
at
brother-in-law
that
just
lounge.
flew Etihad from Heathrow to Melbourne yesterday.
Did you say
Stopping off at-
Etihad?
Yeah, stopping off at Dubai, I believe. He was upstairs in the 380.
So it's Etihad.
No checking.
I wonder how you
Yeah.
No
properly
checking.
pronounce it. Etihad. Etihad.
I assume he still has to go through customs and all the usual security checks.
I'm guessing so, but my gosh, if airport lounges looked like this for everyone, for every flight, wouldn't that be a classy experience all over again? Look at this.
Oh, absolutely. And they've even got a spa in there. Did you notice on the sign?
What? Really? I didn't catch that. So they have a spa as well.
Here
So-
comes Mr. B.
That's Mr. B.
He's got too much hair.
You got doppelganger, Mr. B.
Look at that guy. Oh my.
That's the way to live.
So this is right up your alley, Mr. B. Your background
Yep.
is as a chef, am I correct?
Correct, yes.
Ah, yeah, that's right up your alley right here. And a cigar lounge, the real Temple of Smoke, Sparks.
Oh yeah, here's the Temple of Smoke. Give me a nice cognac and a big fat cigar, and I'll be happy as a bunny in a bunny thing.
Oh my goodness. Fast forward, an escort, a butler named Leanne. I'll take it.
Yeah, she's all right.
I'll take
My
it.
first ever flight, I had a dedicated ground stewardess because I was a young passenger travelling alone, 11 years old, travelling first class from Prestwick to Toronto in a BOAC 707. So I had this sort of treatment then. I
Wow.
wish I could now.
No, they say they say she's a butler. A butler takes your hat and coat.
Right?
That's it. That's what a butler does. She's pouring coffee now. A butler doesn't do that. A concierge does that. So is she a butler or a concierge?
Oh,
Come
that's
on.
one of my favorite
Mind up.
liveries. One of my favorite liveries right there. Are you guys with me on that? A tail cam?
Yeah.
How'd they get my
Oh.
Easy Dog profile?
The Nick Boy profile.
They nicked my Easy Dog profile for a plane that's not even out yet. Oh my goodness! Look at this
Just
livery.
oh,
Yes,
she got
please.
spit on her chin.
Oh, it's shiny reflection.
Oh,
What do you think,
I thought
Mr.
that was
Pear?
spit on her chin. Or something else.
What do you think, Mr. Pear?
Ah, splendid.
But
Only had the money.
but you know it's an
Only
air,
if we had the monies.
but you know it's an Airbus, yeah?
Yeah.
I don't think that's a lot of money for that treatment.
She looks very happy.
She looks
3,000?
he looks happier.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What did
You
you
know-
get for your $3,000?
You know you get these blue suede loafers. That's what you get for $3,000.
That's what you get.
Those
Yeah.
are nice, dude. I'd rock
Still
those.
got clothes on.
Oh man! So Mr. Pear is the type of gentleman that says, what is your saying on the Boeing?
Yeah, if it ain't Boeing, I ain't going.
If it ain't Boeing, I ain't.
I think you'd go on that one, though.
I think you would. Look how thick that is. That's crazy. Do you think
But
that's just dead space?
I want to be able to smoke. That's the problem.
Yeah, I don't
$3,000. I want to fucking smoke on my plane.
Don't know if you can smoke. I don't know. I didn't see anything about smoking in that lounge, but that would be cool, huh? All
Yeah,
right,
but you could
moving
have
on.
an enclosed cabin, couldn't you, with your own air conditioner? That's just you.
Yeah, I suppose you could. Like a sealed
Why
cabin.
not? Yeah,
Like a confession box of smoke.
that's the one. Smoke away, big boy.
This was crazy. I found this one. Moving on to the next topic, Air Berlin, super late turn in and touchdown. If you guys had a chance to peek at this one, this is crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, just that shot alone says so much for the contents of this video.
I mean, this is one of the world's scariest airports as it is.
Where are we?
This is Madeira. Uh-huh.
Mandela. Yeah, it's a pretty street approach. I mean, you just looking at that shot there.
Yeah, beautiful,
It's
beautiful. So this
and
guy's cutting it
he
super
turns
close.
right in. He almost. I mean, come on. He's over the road when he comes in. It's scary as hell.
It's Madeira, Portugal. But look, it's very zoomed in.
Oh
But
man!
I have to.
Oh
Dramatically.
man! That turn.
But I have to say, guys, that's boss mode. I
That's
mean,
boss
even the
mode.
sky stick. Come on,
Look at-
sky stick. You know.
Yeah, I don't even think the sky stick could nail this. Not like that. Look at that turn. And the corrections right there. Oh,
And there's an elevated runway as well.
look at that! Look at that! Oh!
Got a rudder there.
I don't know. I personally would probably have called it off right there already. I would have said no, going around. Sparks would have gone forward. Mr. Pear, what would you
Leroy
have
Jenkins.
Mr. Wicker would do it.
Mr. Wicker would do
He
it
could-
for sure.
Yeah.
Mr. Wick would do anything in anything.
What do you think, Mr.
He
Pear?
was
Was that?
late. If you look, he was kind of late on the touchdown.
Yeah, he was. I mean, he touched down. Let's see. Let's have a good peek here. What?
He's
That's
good
halfway down.
the runway.
That's halfway down the runway.
Yeah.
I bet he had auto brake 4 and his teeth were on the windscreen.
Look at that.
Look at that
Insane.
slope on that runway, Mr. Pear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a sloping runway.
Yeah, but
That's
also
got a
look.
plateau on the top.
Yeah, but look at how zoomed in the camera is here.
Yeah. Vantage point here probably was pretty far away. I'm guessing maybe like the guy lives in a skyscraper or something.
Yeah.
That's why you also see the slope.
We'll have to try it on the lounge one day.
That'd
And
be
he's got
good.
four
Does
in
anyone
there.
make this scenery that you know of?
They
Yes.
must
That would
do.
be really,
Come
really
on,
good.
must do.
Aerosoft has this scenery, but sadly they did not manage to upgrade it for P3D. It works very nicely in FSX.
Let's have a peek. Yeah, so looks like Aerosoft FSX only, Madeira X.
Something is really weird about the mesh in this one if
Ooh.
you try to.
That's a good representation.
That really
Yeah,
is a good representation.
It's very good. It's old, but it's very good indeed.
Yeah, that's clean. That's real nice. Good game, Aerosoft. Nice work. But it's
We
a
should get
shame.
Aerosoft to.
If
They
you,
really
look,
should upgrade this
if you looked at the shading at the sides of the runways there, it had the appearance of the slope there, although it was probably a flat runway itself.
Yeah, let's have a look at the video.
It's a real shame that they didn't bring it to B3D. They should.
Yeah. Well, they are working on converting some still.
Does it have the slope runway in the sim?
No.
Probably not. I'm guessing that's just a standard slope due to the length. So it's not necessarily something you would visually see right away. Because I think Mr. Pear, correct me if I'm wrong, you're doing a lot of work with sloped runways lately. The slope is pretty natural to every runway, right? To have some amount of slope.
Yeah, it all depends on the runway and where it lies, you know. So you
I think
don't,
Mr.
you don't
Yeah.
see the slope if you do the normal views, but if you start zooming in the view, you will really see the slope. And at night time also, you will see the slope more because of the lights.
I think Mr. Pear was telling me last week when he was working on some that there was a runway which was almost billiard table-like. I think the difference between the two ends was like 10 centimeters or something. Was that right?
Yeah, 2 feet.
2 feet, yeah.
Wow.
That's
That's flat.
That's
Yeah.
that's flat. Wow, incredible. Moving on, we start to see some other stuff. Guy with zero experience flies and attempts to land a real plane, not sim. They had to make a real important announcement here, not sim. So the neat thing about this is, this guy. Let's have a peek here at the channel. This guy uploads some really good stuff. Friendly Skies film.
I watched this video and I have some thoughts on this.
Yeah, so he takes a friend up that, as you can see from the video, has never watched him fly apparently. So he's getting a feel for the plane with a blindfold on. Literally copying a feel on this poor little plane.
Isn't the door on the other side?
Yeah, it is on this. And he takes the guy up in the plane, fully blindfolded all the way up, and then removes it at cruise. And he needs to land the plane. And supposedly he's going to actually take it all the way to the ground. There has to be some regulation against this, right? Like there has to be.
Yeah.
Because
my thoughts of this is totally staged, totally faked. When the guy is actually going through the, he's looking across the dials and he's saying, oh, well, that one says alt on it, so that must be the altitude. This one with the wings on, oh, that must be my bank angle. So he knows aircraft. He knows dials. He's not fucking fresh from the farm saying drive this.
Gotcha.
Because you would just go, I haven't got a clue what I'm doing. I'm sorry. You know?
I guess I feel like that
But
in any new aircraft that I buy too,
it's a
though.
total fake. To me, it's a total fake.
Total fake from
It's a
Mr.
crock of
Sparks.
shit. Yeah.
I watched the whole video, and you can definitely see some tension build up. He's sitting there kind of paying attention, but not. The pilot in command is he in command at this point, I guess? But he's actually, you can see in his eyes, he's kind of eyeballing. Yeah, he's still keeping a monitor on it. He's still wondering whether he should jump in or not, and probably making sure that nothing's going to go south, if you will.
Now he's taking pictures.
Now he's taking pictures.
Really on the ball. Yeah, I think it's a crock of shit. Personally, I think it's total fake. I think it's just totally staged. Just
Here
my
you
opinion.
see short final.
I watched it all through. I think it's staged.
Here you see short final, and his hand is actually on the yoke. So he's got control of this aircraft. It's not like it's not like Betty Bonanza where you have one yoke and you pass it to the other person. Like this, it's got two yokes. He's obviously probably had his hand on it. The camera seems positioned to where in the very corner he should be able to grab the yoke as most pilots do, which is just kind of holding the corner and trimming it out. So it's very possible that the entire way through he did have some amount of input on this plane.
It would definitely have the rudder.
Definitely have the rudder, which is a pretty dangerous control surface to not know how to use. Yeah, the rudder. If you were to smack the rudder and say, "Oh, maybe this is the brake," you'd probably have a bad time.
You'd do a Mr. B at the takeoff stage.
Abort on climb out.
I think it was staged for entertainment value, and that's all I'm going to take it as. It's good entertainment, but I don't think it's real.
All right, so now the real question, Mr. Pear. We'll start at the top, Mr. Pear. If you were on a flight and were handed over controls of the plane, and let's just say it's a plane you haven't had experience in. Do you think that because you've had some virtual experience in flight sim that you'd be able to land this plane? And Mr. Pear goes silent.
Yeah, it depends on if I had the owner of the plane beside me. I think I could.
If you had the owner of the plane beside you?
What if the owner of the plane was beside you, but he was dead?
Yeah.
But then, yes, of course, I would land the plane.
Oh, okay. But if he was alive, he wouldn't land it.
No, but if he were alive, I could ask him questions.
True. All right, Mr. Sparks, do you think you can land a plane? Should somebody come up and say, Sparks, you've got to land this plane?
Right, that plane that he's just flown, or any plane, or are we talking specifics here? We're talking airliners. We're talking.
Let's
GA,
say this plane. Let's say this plane for the.
Right,
let's say this plane.
Yes, I know the instruments. I know. I mean, the only thing you don't get out of a sim is the feel. That's the only thing you don't get out of a sim. You don't get that feeling of dropping and climbing and banking. But instrument-wise, yes. I know what speed to come in at. I know when to drop the flaps. I know theoretically how to land this plane. Whether I could successfully or not, most people have seen my landings. I'm not going to say more than that. But yes, I could land this plane.
How would you know the speed of the plane if you never flew?
Yeah.
Because that's going to land at between 80 and 50 knots. It's a single engine Cessna type plane. It's low wing, it's got good maneuverability, it's going to come in about 80 knots.
It's also something you can sense by the seat of your pants as well.
Yeah.
I mean, these things, when you have altitude, when you have safe altitude, you're welcome to play with a plane. If you have the skill set to recover a plane, you have the liberty to kind of feel it out as well. Much like getting a manual car with a clutch, right? If you drive yours, you know the sweet spot in your clutch, and you know your car very well. But then you go rent another manual transmission car, you have to learn that sweet spot, that new place where your leg has to be right on the clutch on a hill, you know, to not roll back. You have to relearn all that. But you have some space to play. Yeah, like planes are the same. They have those little sweet spots for things. I think, yeah, if you get a feel for one, you should be able to jump in and well enough fly another. Well enough. Doesn't mean you won't damage some gear, but well enough you should be able to. What do you think, Mr. B?
I wouldn't say I'd land it successfully. I'd just say we'll get us down alive.
Fair enough. What do you think, Mr. B?
Yeah, well, I would be comfortable if I had communication with the ground, and I knew that I didn't have to concern myself with other traffic around me, and just had to focus on landing the aircraft. I think I could do it. I would need that clearance, you know.
Yeah.
There was a video of an old guy who was 70 odd in the Humberside area, and the guy actually died next to him, and ATC actually managed to talk him down.
Oh,
he had
wow.
never flown a plane before.
Yeah, I remember that story well, Mr. B. Sorry, Pedro. Pedro!
Alright, moving on, next topic. Let's do it. We've got some sim news. So this is the first video of the A2A constellation that was posted by our friends at Sim CFI. Now this guy put out a series of follow-up videos already, including one that I've been diving into pretty deep, which was a navigation one. So you're going to want to check out the Sim CFI YouTube channel for links to those. But this guy streamed his first flight in it, and I have to say, as far as planes go, if you're a fan of a vintage aircraft, this A2A Connie is absolutely amazing.
Beautiful aircraft.
Beautiful, beautiful aircraft. Ugly but beautiful, right? I think people probably have different
opinions.
opinions.
I love the vintage aircraft. I do not own the Connie yet, due to just funds issue, but it is one that I have on the radar. Definitely have on the radar. I mean, the videos I've watched of this, it looks absolutely fantastic. And owning 90% of A2A's planes, how can I not have it?
So you'll want to check out Sim CFI's YouTube channel here. He's got a series of really good videos, introducing also some other training material as well. Definitely one to keep an eye on. Moving on, next topic, we have, this is why we fly. This was one that I posted in the lounge last week. Serious memories of the New Zealand tour with this video. I'm not going to play this one at all. It's absolutely gorgeous. If you haven't seen it, head over to the forum now and take a look at this video. This is why we fly. Some of the scenery here is incredible, and this approach was nail-biting, to say the least. I believe, what was it? It was Queenstown.
Queenstown.
Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
ORBX do that one.
Yeah, they did. Yep. ORBX Queenstown.
It's a beautiful airport. I mean, that whole South Island. I mean, both islands are really nice, but the South Island the ORBX is just absolutely stunning.
Most definitely. Moving on, a couple videos. Mr. Bradley Friesen, really cool stuff. Vancouver Christmas from above. This guy is a helicopter pilot, and he flies his little chopper all over the world into some really interesting places. Another really good YouTube channel. We get their videos right away here in the forum. Let's skip up a little bit more. We've got a question submitted by Whatchutalkinboutwillis regarding controllers. So it looks like he's looking for some controller suggestions. Let's start at the bottom with this one. Mr. B, he says, I'm relatively new to the Sky Lounge and I'm still flying using a tired old Logitech Extreme 3D Pro. Now, it's funny, but I think a lot of people like to graduate out of that. But a lot of people that are pro flyers in Sim still use that. It's such a good joystick, that 3D Pro. I think we probably all started at that one, yeah?
I never had a 3D Pro.
You never had the 3D Pro? It's so good.
No, never had the 3D Pro.
So you went straight into your Cytec, is that right?
I went from the Thrustmaster HOTAS X to my Cytec.
Gotcha. So he says, I don't have a problem with it being basic, but I have a problem with the fact that the joystick is getting loose with age, and I have a lot of travel in the twisting motion. So yeah, sounds like the twist rudder. Any recommendations on systems you love or ones to definitely avoid? All input is welcome. Thanks in advance. We'll start at the bottom. Mr. B, what do you think?
Well, I just absolutely love the Cytec yoke. I've had that now 2 years, and the only time I don't use that is when I'm flying helicopters. When I'm flying helicopters, I use a cheap Thrustmaster joystick. Costs me, I think, £25. It's got a throttle, twist, and obviously up and down, left and right. Does me fine for the helicopters. But for any planes, whether it be Airbus, Boeing, or VFR, I just love the Cytec yoke. I do not like the Cytec rudder pedals because I think the build quality is poor. I've had 2 sets now. They both failed on the right toe brake. So I've graduated to some crosswind rudder pedals now. But yeah, absolutely for me, the Cytec yoke. Absolutely love it.
Mr. B, were you a football player in your youth? Because you seem to break the right toe often. You might have a strong right leg.
It's amazing how many people have that issue, that right toe brake issue.
It's the dominant leg, maybe. I bet they're all right-handed.
Too heavy on that. It's too heavy on his foot. That's what it is.
What about you, Mr. Sparks?
Well, I've never used a yoke system. I currently love and hate my current setup, which is the X55. I'll tell you the love and hate behind it. I love this.
Ah, yeah, the throttle.
But I hate it. I love it because it's split. It's a split throttle. I love that. Brilliant for helicopter flying because I can have that as my throttle and that as my collective. I really like it. The problem with it is the wire looming goes through these throttles and the wire's split. And now I've lost pretty much every button on this controller. That's why I need a new throttle. All these buttons are pretty much redundant. They're dead. But I still love the joystick. I'm sorry. The joystick itself is absolutely fantastic with the spring system, the changeable springs. Can't fault it. Absolutely love it. I don't know what the X56 is like. I don't know if the build quality is any better. I'm going to assume they've improved on their previous designs. I'm hoping they have, but that's my choice. I've had this for 2 years now. Buttons are just starting to go. That's my choice.
Right on. So the X55 gets an upvote from Mr. Sparks. Mr. Pear, what about you, sir?
What about me?
What about you?
Well, I have the Extreme 3D Pro joystick. I think I had most of the joystick up over the years.
Were there any that you really loved or any that you really hated that were shit?
Yeah, a lot of shitty joysticks.
Yeah.
Mostly the cheaper with the pot meters. But there is a very good cheap joystick in my eyes, and that's the Trustmaster T16000. The reason why is it uses digital pulse sensors, so it's a magnetic. It doesn't use pot meters, which wears out over time. It uses digital sensors, so it's extremely precise and it's cheap. Comes with a twist handle and throttle.
What model was that?
The Trustmaster T16000. It's very
Right.
good. I use it a lot in Elite Dangerous, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Other than that, other than that, I used for joysticks. I use the TrustMaster Warthog with the HOTAS system. It also uses the digital hull sensors, which are very precise indeed.
One of the pieces of equipment that I've got that really impressed me and surprised me with the quality was the TPM that SATEC do. You know, the throttle, the prop, and the mixture levers that you actually pull out, push in. Absolutely brilliant. The quality is awesome.
Good piece of equipment. Mr. Pear touches base on on the internal build quality, and I think that's important. The POTS meters versus like the digital inputs. The POTS meters typically wear out. A lot of audio equipment also suffers from that same thing. And I believe now you use something very advanced. Is that right, Mr. Perry? You use like a Boeing 737 yoke, right?
Yeah, right now I'm using a full-size Boeing 737 yoke. It's also hull sensor equipped. So it basically is weighing in at 30 kilos and it's floor mount.
Wow.
Experience.
Sitting there with the full deal right there, dude. Full clipboard in the center.
But then again, it's not for everyone. It's very expensive. Yeah.
So I'm in the X55 camp myself. I as well, like Sparks, love my X55. I graduated from the X45, I think it was the blue one, the blue one. But when P3D V3 came out, my other one was not supported. So impatient me could not wait until they fixed it. Apparently they had within 2 days acknowledged that, like, oh shit, you're right guys, we'll release a fix. I couldn't wait. I needed to fly in V3, and so I went out and I got the X55. I didn't know about what Sparks was highlighting about the actual wiring loom in the throttle quadrant, but it's something that I should look out for now. My buttons all currently work just fine. It feels like a very tough controller, but what I think I'll do on that feedback, I think I'm going to crack mine open and have a peek at that, and maybe I'll post some pictures here on the forum when I do so. I'm going to see if there's any way to kind of remove that or reroute those wires so they don't wear down, because I, like you, use the split throttle often.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want them to
absolutely.
rub
I think there is a guy, he done a guide on what he did is he wrapped the loom. He wrapped the loom in you know, like
like a sheath, like
a cable wrap.
Yeah.
Insulated.
And then he lubricated it so it moved with the throttles.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
There is a video up somewhere. I don't have access to it right this very moment, but I did see something about that. It might be worth looking into.
And you mentioned the X56. I too have heard plenty of feedback on the X56. There has been some weird stuff posted in the support forum about X56 buttons not working. But for the most part, I believe that the X56 is the same build as the X55, with the exception of like a raised wrist area. One of the big complaints on the X55 is the fact that you kind of have to have a very big hand to.
I got big hands. I don't mind.
Like to reach these top buttons, your hand doesn't rest on the wrist, so you can't reach the top ones unless you raise your hand off the wrist pad. So that seems to be a sticking point for many.
As I said, not an issue for me. I've got big hands. High five.
All right, let's see. Moving on, we are going to head over to the forum again and scroll up. Thank you again, Whatchutalkinboutwillis, for the question, and hopefully we were able to give you some guidance with that. Here's that A2A Constellation autopilot navigation tutorial. That video is now posted as well. This next question by Sky Lounger, Mr. Destin65, wanted JustFlight DC10 feedback and add-on question. So looks to me like he is looking at the DC10 package that's made by CLS. Blah blah blah, always turn me on. I'd like to pick up an affordable package of this classic plane, both for fun flying pleasure and use in air hauler. Looking for somebody to give their impressions of it. So anyone here own the JustFlight DC10?
Not me.
No?
No.
Mr. Sparks, you don't own the
Fortunately,
DC10?
no.
Let's pull this up here.
It looks like a very nice plane.
So I owned a DC-10, but I probably won't be too much of solid feedback. I can tell you externally it's really pretty. It comes with the FedEx livery as well, default. Some of my photos that you've seen with FedEx have been in this plane. Let me see if I can find it. CLS DC-10.
There you go, it's FedEx right there.
Yeah, that was the FedEx. It is really, really nice. The external model is great. It's photoreal textures, so you see a lot of the dings and dents and wrinkles in the tail, which gives it that added touch of realism. System-wise, I can't comment because I don't know the systems very well in this aircraft, but it's a pleasure to get up in the air, and it's very easy to get up into the sky. So, FS Pilot Shop looks like about $40. You may be able to find it cheaper somewhere else. Looks like there's an avionics expansion for it as well. Oops, or not.
Broken the internet.
So maybe you don't want to shop that one at FS Pilot Shop. Might want to find somewhere else. All right, moving on. Let's see here. ChasePlane 1.5 Alpha announced. So over the past week, the folks at FSFX Packages have released ChasePlane 1.5 Alpha. This includes the Track IR support as well. Any feedback from the team here so far? Starting at the top, Mr. Pear, do you ChasePlane?
I don't own ChasePlane, so no comment.
No comment on there. Mr. Sparks, do you ChasePlane?
Yeah, I've loaded in the 1.5 Alpha. To be honest with you, I've had some issues with it not recognizing planes and not recognizing views and stuff. I did revert back to the non-alpha, turning off the advanced features, and it seemed to work fine. So I don't know if it's an issue with my config file or anything. I know Mr. Kevin is, quite happy with the feedback, and he's actively looking into it, which is great about their community, because every feedback you give to them, and they do take it very seriously, and want to get things fixed. They don't want disappointed customers, which is great. But yes, I've used it. I love it. I love some of the features they've added to it. I love that holding the horizon. Your plane moves, but the horizon doesn't, which is absolutely fantastic. It's visually. Edson, you're being a photographer and stuff. The effects like that just make things come alive. It's
Most
really
definitely.
good. But still has bugs, still has issues. It's still an alpha. I'm going to give it time, but yes, love it.
Cool, Mr. B.
Well, I absolutely love ChasePlane. I had the similar issues, I think both yourself and Mr. Sparks experienced when we went on to the newer version the other day. So I did the same as Mr. Sparks. I just clicked the experimental off, it did some sort of update again, and then it was working fine after that. I love it. I use it in a very simple mode. I'm not a cinematographer or what have you. I just use it very simply, and I absolutely adore it. I think it's a brilliant program. A must-have.
A must-have from Mr. B. All right, right on. So, me myself, I had been waiting for Alpha 1.5 based on some performance issues with the initial Alpha. I love the approach that if you engage the experimental, you can get this Alpha 1.5, or an easy revert back, like Mr. Sparks noted, is to just simply turn off experimental mode. The performance has been day and night on my system from the initial release to Alpha 1.5. I don't know what kind of unicorn piss they fucking mixed in with the fuel for ChasePlane, but it's absolutely a huge chunk of resource is gone. Just simply disappeared, yet the product continues to work. It's weird. I did also, like Mr. Sparks, have some issues with it. It's unfortunate that they happen in a production setting for me. During my shows, one of the things I don't ever want to worry about are the systems or the tools that I utilize to produce that show. Anything I have to troubleshoot live, to me, is breaking my flow or breaking my concentration from simply producing a show. Much like, you know, a race car driver on a track, if he has to pit every damn lap, what's the point? So it is unfortunate that I have to report that I did revert back to EasyDock from Alpha 1.5 while I continue to keep my eyes on development for Alpha 2. Alpha 2, as it says here, will include the community as well, probably. Yeah, it says the best features of Alpha 2 before Alpha 2. Alpha 2's coming soonish as well, that I can share. The community will soon be here as well, that I can share. But I'm hoping that some of the reported issues, because I sent a lot of feedback in, I'm hoping that a lot of those issues will be resolved in Alpha 2. We seem to have identified what may have been causing them, but like you, Sparks, I experienced some aircraft configuration issues, which was weird. I would switch views.
That's the thing I had. It just doesn't recognize the aircraft.
Yeah, and like I would switch views, and then show that shot for a little while, then go back inside the cockpit, and when I come back out to that view, it's completely different.
Gone.
Yeah, like all the settings are reverted, or it's completely just. I have this wing view that I do facing the aircraft fuselage from the wing, and everything was set perfect and it worked. Then I went inside, then I came outside and it was 2 feet above the wing, right? So now the camera magically appeared 2 feet above the wing, and then I went back inside. Oh, sorry, it was above the wing, so I repositioned it 2 feet down, and then I went back inside, came back out. Guess where it was then? It was 2 feet below the wing. So
I have to say, the only issue I've had is in the experimental mode. Once reverting back out of experimental mode, it's been flawless.
Yeah, and I think that's where I'm caught. I think that's where I'm caught because I can't run the initial release because of resource allocation. I mean, it's simple to say I run my stuff at pretty much peak, and I don't have the available headroom to run the initial alpha release. 1.5, however, comes in at a really nice footprint of resource, and I can run it. So I'm really looking forward to version Alpha 2 and beyond. I have no doubts that I will be utilizing ChasePlane in the future, just that right now for my production setting, it's not the right tool yet. But moving on, let's see here. We've got the huge landing gear and spacious cockpit of the Antonov. Does anyone make a good Antonov? Look at this thing. This thing is a freaking monster. Oh, and there's Dead Mouse, because, you know, gotta watch Dead Mouse. This thing is a monster, man. Look at that gear.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
They get into Scotland, wouldn't they, Mr. B?
These come into Doncaster, these do.
That's just insane, man.
That's serious engineering right there.
Yeah.
The wing, I mean, Doncaster has got one of the widest runways in Europe, and the wings still go over the grass on both sides by a great amount.
Wow.
Beautiful to see, though.
Beautiful plane. I think. Oh, there's departure. Oh my gosh. Incredible. Top Fellia, great video, but please stop putting links to other videos over the best part. We want to see that departure.
Changing.
Yeah. Over the past week as well, we've got a couple new perks for patrons. All your patrons out there, head over to the file section. We have a lot more new liveries for you. The entire suite of Cubs is now complete for Cub Club. So if you are a patron and flying Cub Club, head over there to grab the new Sky Lounge liveries. A huge shout out and thank you to Mr. Canuck Shaw for making those possible. Now
Canuck
featuring
Shaw's
the
just
Black
amazing
Pearl.
at these.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's knocking them out. Definitely.
And when we say knocking them out, he's repainting them.
Yes. Carenado brings us some news. The new PA-46 Malibu Meridian has been released.
Yeah.
I want
Malibu.
this. I do.
It's
want
another
this.
TVM, isn't it?
It's like a TVM. It's like a PC-12. Yeah, it's sexy, and they have this one repaint. This paint right here. Ah, it's so nice. The
I don't
black-
think I'd get it because I've got the TVM, I've got the PC-12. Why do I need one that sits in the middle?
True. I'd have to really compare specs. I'd have to pull up specs on them to see. So none of us own this one yet.
Yeah,
It looks nice. I mean, you know, it's Carenado. All their planes look gorgeous.
they're beautiful. Aren't
But I've already. This is the way I look at it. I already own this plane.
A good point.
they? Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel, you know, there's so many planes come out that are very similar, and you can only fly so many. It's,
Yeah, a good point. And I think that's why I stayed away from it as well, is because it feels like I already own it.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. The Hawker Typhoon released by Aeroplane Heaven. Or not released yet. I think it's being released soon. But this is an old British fighter, huh? RAF.
Oh yeah.
This story brought to us by Mr. Rob Skip. Rob Skip
Yeah.
is an incredibly knowledgeable chap in military aviation. I mean, he schools us
Absolutely
day
loves
in
it.
and day out. He schools us on military aviation. What do you guys think about this so
Okay.
far?
He's a military screenshot king, isn't he? He's got some beautiful screenshots, military aircraft.
Yeah, he does. Most definitely.
Worth heading over there just to see a lot of them.
What do you think about that, guys?
That's
I
beautiful.
love it. I think it looks. I mean, I don't know. You know, it's not out yet. We don't know what the performance is like, but the texturing on it looks right. It looks good. That big open radiator at the front of the plane looks absolutely, you know, bang on.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. You're right.
Yeah,
about that.
it looks right. I mean, what the performance is going to be like, who knows?
And
Until
you
we
just
get
want
it.
You want to
And I'm
hear
sure Rob Skip will tell us everything that's wrong with it.
So true. Do
It's an
you?
aircraft you want to hear. You
Yeah,
want to hear
I
that
think-
thing.
I think what's going to make this shine is the sound set, and the guys at Aeroplane Heaven have really stepped up their texturing game. Performance-wise, their planes perform really great in sim. They have a good track record, in my book at least, for performance. I have a few Aeroplane Heaven planes, and I do love them very much. Little details like a shaking key ring in the keyhole and stuff like that in the ignition. Really nice details. So. Texturing wise, yes, this is definitely a go for me. I want a video. I want to hear this thing because if they miss it on the sound set, I feel like that's what's gonna kill this product.
I don't think they will. I think they'll want to get the sound set as accurate as possible. I don't know if there's any actually of them still operating that they can actually sample. I don't know if there's any operational, to be honest with you, but. I'm sure they'll get a pretty good, accurate representation. And I hope so, anyway.
What do you think, Mr. Pear? Are you a fan of military aircraft?
Oh yeah, I like them. This one looks very nice. It does. But if I will buy it, I don't know.
Looks a little bit more tame than a Spitfire, I think. I wonder how this matches up with the Spitfire.
Well, my DCS Spitfire would tear it to pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's just when you're taxiing.
Or I'd black out and crash into the ground.
Bravo. So thank you, Mr. Rob Skip, for bringing us that scoop, man. Sky 5, brother. Moving on, Aerosoft announces, well, I don't think they're announcing, they're asking about printed checklists. They say we're considering to create printed checklists, double-sided, laminated checklists for aircraft such as the CRJ, the Twin Otter, the Airbus. Before we do, we'd like to test the interest. So clicking over here at the source takes us straight to the Aerosoft forums, where we might be able to see, let's just say, my vote for this will make it very clear. I'll vote it live. My vote would be no. I probably would not buy a printed checklist. I feel like a lot of this stuff is readily available on the internet. What do you think? We'll start with Mr. Sparks on this one.
Yeah, absolutely. You can get pretty much checklists for every known plane online, print them out yourself, laminate them yourself. You know, laminators are dirt cheap. I think they're flogging a dead horse here.
Yeah.
You know, I could print out a checklist for the CRJ right now. I can just look it up on the internet, print out a checklist, stick it through a laminator, job done. Cost me 3 pence for a laminate sheet. I think they're flogging a dead horse.
Yeah, I think it would be cheaper than shipping to just make one. What do you think, Mr. B?
Well, they provide you a PDF anyway, so just print the PDF off, stick it in a sleeve.
That's true.
You know, save the trees.
It says I attach a PDF showing how a checklist would work, and then he links this PDF. This is what we're looking at. Yeah, I mean, that's a standard checklist that's available online.
Yeah.
Pretty standard. Mr. Pear, what do you think? Would you purchase a pre-printed and laminated checklist?
I already did.
You purchased a printed checklist?
Yes, I already did, but it's a checklist. It's a real world checklist for one carrier, which I paid someone actually. So I have it on 2 sides with the laminated, you know, the plastic transparent.
But that's pretty specific, right? So that has the carrier logo on it and stuff, is that right?
Yeah, this is very specific.
Ah, okay. So that's not generic, that's specific.
Yeah, very specific. So, and I have this checklist because it's special. I don't think I would buy any more checklists for yeah. I would have wanted no if I were.
Right, right. Now,
This checklist is for my cockpit build, if you know.
right, so that it fits in with your whole, what you fly the most
Yes.
for the immersion factor. Yeah, I get that. What if they created a customized checklisting where you could add your own carrier logo up top? I wonder if that would make this more appealing for the serious simmers.
Maybe.
A bit more personal, do you think?
Yeah,
you know,
a little
like
bit
you
more
could
personal.
have your VA name and logo on it, sort of thing.
Not
But then
for me.
wouldn't that be sold through your VA, not through Aerosoft?
Yeah, you know. I think, like you said, it's a dead horse, and we're moving on. Matis, we're going to pass on this
It's
one.
good. I like the fact that Aerosoft come to the market and ask.
I think
You
it's
know.
great, and it looks like we're losing the battle here, even though all of us have
Yeah.
pretty much said no. It looks like the people are saying yes, and I think that's why it's important to ask the market sometimes whether they would want something. What this means, whether they're actually going to do it or not, we don't know, but we'll see with time. We'll see with time. Moving on, we've got about 6 minutes left. Let's see what else we have to cover here. As far as sim news, ORBX announces LEBB. This is Bilbao. Does anyone own Bilbao? Oh no, this has not been released
It's
yet.
only just released. It's not released yet.
This is just their announcement.
Want it? I want it.
It looks very nice.
There is an airport there, yeah?
somewhere here there's an airport. You know, they
Show
really
me the
like to
airport.
show off the surrounding areas with their screenshots. They really do. They show off the surrounding area a lot more than the airport.
Yeah. I find that with a lot of the smaller airports that they do, particularly in the Pacific Northwest and what have you, that they'll show you all the mountainous area around and then there's a little runway in the middle.
Yeah.
You know, I want to see the airport.
This looks really nice. Looks
That's
like a little
beautiful,
industrial
that is.
complex.
Love that.
So where's the airport in relation to here? I almost wish like that they would have an arrow that says airport that way so that you knew that this was in. Is this in your approach path or not? You know, I don't know. Oh, there we are. All right, so we have an
There you
airport
are.
here in the top left corner. So yeah, you would fly right over that. That's
nice.
gonna be cool. That's very very Valdez-like almost. Yeah.
I see ooms incoming.
You doomed as you get over this.
This is where the ooms happen.
That's about where it crashed out, huh?
Yep. Nice use of photo reel with AutoGen. Really clean. Oh, look at the rocks here on the beach. So you have this beach, and then you have these rocks out here. Yeah, that's nice.
I've not yet purchased an ORBX airport that I didn't like. I have purchased some that disappointed me, but I still liked them because of the obvious work that goes into them.
Yeah.
They are beautiful.
Looks like a high-rise tower here as well in the stadium.
The thing is about these sceneries. I mean, I'm gonna put the elephant in the room here. They're great, but they do produce a shed load of VAS. Now, when, and we know it's coming, they go 64, these airports are going to shine.
Oh,
Because
yes.
you won't need to turn anything down. You're not going to have to worry about VAS issues. You're going to have all your sliders up to max if your system can handle it. And your sims are just going to look absolutely stunning with these sceneries.
Yeah.
We're
I
looking
can't
at
wait
the
for
inside
that.
of
I
a
mean,
gym here.
So looking forward to it. 64-bit.
Looks like a really nice, looks like a really neat town, this Bilbao.
I've never actually flown into Bilbao in real or in sim, to be honest. I wouldn't
pretty
be able
nice.
to point it out on the map.
So Bilbao is here in, it looks like in Spain, northern part of Spain, which is gonna make for some really good flying, actually.
A very good tourist region.
You've got flights
you know,
to Greece, you know, flights to Italy from here, from Bilbao.
Yeah.
Flights into France, flights into the UK. You can do nice routes right here.
And it'll be a short. If you're doing that in a heavy, that's going to be what, a 2-hour flight.
Yeah.
Not even that.
Nice short haul 2-hour flight.
Definitely. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to Bilbao.
Yeah.
Bilbao. Moving on to our current page, we've got the Sim CFI stuff, some new perks, and an interesting thread here.
Shall we talk about the pricing policy?
Yes, this one's submitted by Mr. Crawley. ORBX Emerging Platforms Pricing Policy. So tell us a little about this, Mr. Crawley. We have you here on the line.
Yeah, I'm absolutely thrilled that ORBX are going to be covering. It looks like they're going to be covering all platforms, because when we finally settle on what we feel to be our best sim for us, at least we know we're going to be able to import that quality in. It's going to come in at a cost, and what John's doing here is explaining to us what we will likely have to pay to transfer onto the new platforms. And he's stating quite clearly here, we'll get a minimum of 50% discount if we are transferring the products onto a new platform, which we already own. And you know, to me that 50-50, you know, I've spent thousands of pounds on ORBX stuff, so potentially there could be hundreds of pounds to spend to transfer. So I'm hoping it isn't going to be that bad. But at least we know that we're going to get those amazing products, whichever platform we choose.
Right. Absolutely. Cool. Yeah, I mean, this is exciting news. I like that they're coming straight out with the pricing and kind of putting it on the table even before we're seeing 64-bit products. We all know it's coming. I think Sparks said 2017 was like the golden age of flight simulation, and he said that a while back. I've since seen it on some other headlines. But I do think that he's absolutely spot on the money with that. 2017 is going to bring a slew of changes in our world, and unfortunately it's going to bring a slew of changes in our wallets as well, as we'll probably need to flip them over and just empty them out.
Can I just interject here? I have to say, I've got no problem with this pricing policy. Now, people are going to go, yeah, but I've already bought the product. It cost me $100, blah, blah, blah. It's just to say ORBX Global, for instance, 99 Australian dollars, which was about 60, 70 quid here. Now, they're going to say minimum 50% off, so half that. So you're going to have to fork out another 40 quid. I'm happy with that. Yeah. I'm quite happy with that. That covers their R&D costs, their programmers pay. They've got to pay people to do this stuff. Yeah. You know, I can understand it. If they said you had to buy it again, I would be upset.
Right.
Yeah. I would be upset if they said you got to buy the product again 64-bit. Then I'd be pissed off. If they say, right, we're gonna put a charge on it, because, you know, we've got overheads, we've got people to pay, we've got, you know, people have got mouths to feed, you know, we can't give stuff away for free again. I'm happy with it. I'm quite happy with their pricing policy.
I'll tell you what it does do for me. It makes me think twice about buying one of the premium airports at the minute, when I'm potentially going to have to buy.
That's the key. Do you buy or do you wait?
I didn't even think about that, but you're right. When you're gonna pay the premium price, let's just say standard airports are $10 and premium are $20.
Innsbruck comes out.
Right. If you know you're gonna pay the premium and then pay half of that again, you're almost better off just waiting.
Yeah.
You're right, Mr. Pear. Any thoughts on this, on the pricing for ORBX upgrade to 64-bit?
Looks good.
You think it's fair to charge half of the price of the original product for 64-bit? Yeah, Mr. Pear thinks it's fair. I like that. All right, that's gonna wrap it up for this the first edition, folks, of TSL News. That wraps up a week's worth of news. If we missed anything, please let us know. If there's anything you want us to cover, please head over to the forums and submit a story. If you're a developer, please keep us in the loop. Head over to the forums, submit a story so we can cover it, both the release and just an announcement as well, with any previews you may want to share, and we'll be happy to go over that. Any corrections or anything of the sort, just send me a message on the site, OMGEDSON, and we'll get to those. Any developers that have any feedback on any of our comments, please do the same as well, and we'll be happy to open that line of communication. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining. Mr. Sparks, Mr. Pear, and Mr. B, thank you guys for joining. Sky Fives to everyone.
Sky
Sky 5, guys.
And we'll catch you next week on TSL News. Bye-bye.
Bye.
63, climb maintain 13 down.
13,000, 063.
463, contact the New York Center 128.3.